Now I got a little bit too much headspace. Headspace would be this piece here between the head and the top. And, this would probably be a little bit better, but what can I say? New laptop. So I'm not even using webcam. I had some issues before with audio, but that was because I did not have it plugged in all the way. And I finally figured out, no, you cannot wrap the extra cord up in a rubber band because I was essentially cutting off the circulation. And I was mad about that. You have to do a 40-minute video and find out that at the beginning and the end, you can hardly hear it because you have done something funky with that. But you guys didn't come here for lessons in how to set up to do a video. Donald J. Trump has been found guilty of 34 felonies. And let me tell you, I got a call about 30 minutes after it came out. And the person's like, 34 felonies. I'm like, oh, yeah, I just saw that pop up on my email. But how did we get here? How did we get to this point? And I don't mean talking about the sleaziness going on behind the scenes. I mean, let's go back and take a look at the press release. If you've been following me for a while, I like to go back to the actual documents and see what was said, because the question that has been answered, based on that initial press release is, did they do their job based on what they said they were going to prove in court? That's the question. A lot of people will talk about a lot of other things, but here's the paperwork. Here's what they said happened. Did they prove that to a jury? And it looks like they did for now, because there's always the appeals process. Let me put on my glasses here and bring up this document, because a lot of times I know you guys don't go through these documents, but there's always a lot of conversation out there. I want to give you the opportunity to see the document yourself, this press release. And I'm going to do another video that looks at the statement of facts, the indictment, and then this final wrap up with the guilty on the 34 counts. You guys got me. You guys got me. I'm also going to start doing a lot more lives. I say a lot more as if this is something that I do all the time. It is not. It is not. Now I've tried to make this as big as possible. I could probably do something like this, and then it's a little bit bigger. Was anyone else but me? Am I the only one who thought District Attorney Bragg's name was interesting with this? But that's beyond what I should be talking about. District Attorney Bragg announces 34-count felony indictment of former President Donald J. Trump. Now, remember, this is about a year ago when this came out. And none of this was new news, right? We had heard about this back when he ran for president. But this was the first time that we had seen this actually move forward in a legal capacity. And that's what made this so different. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin L. Bragg Jr. today announced the indictment of Donald J. Trump, 76, for falsifying New York business records in order to conceal damaging information and unlawful activity from American voters before and after the 2016 election. During the election, Trump and others employed a catch and kill scheme to identify, purchase, and bury negative information about him and boost his electoral prospects. Trump then went to great lengths to hide this conduct, causing dozens of false entries in business records to conceal criminal activity, including attempts to violate state and federal election laws. Trump is charged in a New York State Supreme Court indictment with 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. The people of the state of New York allege that Donald J. Trump repeatedly and fraudulently falsified New York business records to conceal crimes that hid damaging information from the voting public during the 2016 presidential election, said District Attorney Bragg. Manhattan is home to the country's most significant business market. We cannot allow New York businesses to manipulate their records to cover up criminal conduct. As the statement of facts describes, the trail of money and lies exposes a pattern that, the people allege, violates one of New York's basic and fundamental business laws. As this office has done time and time again, we today uphold our solemn responsibility to ensure that everyone stands equal before the law. According to court documents and statements made on the record in court, from August 15 to December 2017, Trump orchestrated his catch and kill scheme through a series of payments that he then concealed through months of false business entries. In one instance, American Media Inc., AMI, paid $30,000 to a former Trump Tower doorman who claimed to have a story about a child Trump had out of wedlock. In a second instance, AMI paid $150,000 to a woman who alleged she had a sexual relationship with Trump, when Trump explicitly directed a lawyer who then worked for the Trump Organization as Trump's special counsel, to reimburse AMI in cash. The special counsel indicated to Trump that the payment should be made via a shell company and not by cash. AMI ultimately declined to accept reimbursement after consulting their counsel. AMI, which later admitted its conduct was unlawful in an agreement with federal prosecutors, made false entries in its business records concerning the true purpose of the $150,000 payment. In a third instance, look at the diagrams. In a third instance, 12 days before the presidential general election, the special counsel wired $130,000 to an attorney for an adult film actress. The special counsel, who has since pleaded guilty and served time in prison for making the illegal campaign contribution, made the payment through a shell corporation funded through a bank in Manhattan. After winning the election, Trump reimbursed the special counsel through a series of monthly checks, first from the Donald J. Trump Revocable Trust, created in New York to hold the Trump Organization's assets during Trump's presidency, and later through Trump's bank account. In total, 11 checks were issued for a phony purpose. 9 of those checks were signed by Trump. Each check was processed by the Trump Organization and illegally disguised as a payment for legal services rendered pursuant to a non-existent retainer agreement. In total, 34 false entries were made in New York business records to conceal the initial covert $130 payment, $130,000 payment. Further, participants in the scheme took steps that mischaracterized for tax purposes the true nature of the reimbursements. So now we have these diagrams here. People versus Donald Trump. You have the $130,000 hush money payment. You have the 34 counts coming out of that of falsifying business records. That's checks, invoices, and general ledger entries. You have this intent to commit or conceal another crime, including state and federal election laws. And you have the charge that then we're all looking at now with these 34 counts, which is the falsifying business records in the first degree. Now, if you move to the center graphic, you'll see it says the catch and kill scheme to influence the 2016 election. And here's how they break that out. There's an August 2015 meeting at Trump Tower. So on one side, you have the $30,000 in hush money to Trump Tower doorman. Then secondly, you have the $130,000 in hush money to woman 2 through a shell company, which results in 11 lies because there are 11 falsified invoices, and 12 lies because there are 12 falsified general ledger entries, and 11 more lies because you have 11 checks falsely recorded hush money repayments as a retainer, which they're claiming it wasn't. And then the third thing that occurred at that meeting was the $150,000 in hush money to woman 1. So that's the layout of how we get to those 34 counts. If you do your math there, 11 plus 12 plus 11. Moving over to the third graphic here under DA Bragg, 117 counts of felony falsified business records filed by the office from 2019 to 2021. Okay, so this is just sort of giving you, I don't know, some sort of breakdown of information. I'm not sure. Examples of false business records cases: Trump Corporation and Trump payroll corporation state tax crimes, federal banking violations, embezzlement, and sex crimes. So they're just giving you some general information here in this last column. I don't know that we really needed that. I think the first graphic and the second graphic are what really sum this up and help you understand what this looks like. So that's pretty much it. That brings us up to speed with, how did we get to this point? Now, we all know, for those who have not been following the details of this, that initial press release did actually a decent job of laying things out in a very clear manner. And it always helps to have some sort of graphic like that with arrows saying this, this, and this, and then 1, 2, 3, because you're reading a paragraph. And it can get confusing. Wait, was that the 150 that went to, or was that the 130? Or what was that? That's a good show. We like visuals. So go ahead and give the video a thumbs up if this helps take you back in time to April 2023, when you ask yourself after the guilty finding how we got here. Well, now you know. All right, peace.